main thing is that she kept on saying that she didn't need her husband. My first go-to is, did you tell him that? Did you tell this man that you didn't need him? She says yes. Don't let the enemy come into your marriage. First of all, don't let the enemy attack your husband.
Stay-at-home moms should be given 100% of everything in divorce and should be awarded alimony for life.
Toughen up, and I think if men were forced to be homeless, they would learn how to be better men.
There are 3 reasons why I quit my PhD and became an adult content creator.
Welcome back to More to Life. Now, before I get into this video, I ask that you like, comment, subscribe. Also, smash that notification bell just to be sure you get on my videos as soon as I release them. Let's get right into this.
Here's a map of registered sex offenders in Los Angeles. All these individual little dots. You wouldn't take those chances in a hypothetical situation, so women aren't going to take those chances in real life. For women, it is all men until proven otherwise. While women can be on this list, and it's possible, it's not as probable. And that's the point here. If the small percentage of women who do it upset you, then why wouldn't the large percentage of men who do it upset you too? Because you're not an advocate against assault. You're an advocate against women. That's exactly what makes you good guys so dangerous.
You really want to know why men are sick of hearing this message? It is because you said, quote, why wouldn't the large percentage of men upset you too? When men know, you know, we all know that it is not the majority of men. Even when you run the numbers, look, I did a quick Google search and you guys can check me on this, but I found that there are 750,000 offenders in the U.S. 75% of them are male because apparently Google says 25% are female. For a grand total of 562,000, the total male population is 165 million. When you do the math, that is 0.34% of males. So I think it becomes pretty clear that this message is purely to demonize men and doesn't really have anything to do with keeping women safe.
It is to demonize men, and they use it. It's kind of like the feminist logbook, your starter kit. It's like she's at the beginning stages. She just got into feminism at a late age, actually. She's around late 20s. She just got into it, and she's going by their playbook, using the basic things, the old things, to demonize men. And you know what? Men don't care. Men don't. That's when men say, okay, demonize us, we'll demonize you and take a break from you. And yes, right now, by you stating this in a video, you're demonizing all women. This is affecting all women because that's how a guy's gonna see it. All women feel that way, so we just won't deal.
With my homegirl a couple of weeks ago. She called me during lunch. Baby, let me tell y'all something. I am a foodie. I do not like answering the phone whenever I'm eating because I love for my food to be hot. But if I love you, I'll take the phone call. She's upset. She's screaming. She's crying. She's mad. She goes into why she's upset. Then she starts kind of spiraling. She starts saying, you know, I don't need him. Talking about her husband. I don't need him. I can do this alone. I can leave him right now. I'm going to leave him. Blah, blah, blah. All right. Each time that she had a break, and that rant that she was going on, I tried to speak. She wouldn't allow me to speak. My friends already know. I'm the person, I don't like to therapize my friends unless I absolutely need to. But I am really big on helping people understand that sometimes when your emotions are so high, it clouds your judgment and you say very irrational things and you act irrationally. Now, granted, as I'm listening, I realized that what he did, it didn't warrant this reaction. This is something else that's going on. She's going on a deep end, okay? And like I said, I like for my food to be hot. So I'm eating, I'm listening, but I really don't like to be disturbed when I'm eating. So I'm like, all right, hold on, honey. You gonna let me speak? You gonna give me a little moment? I'll let you vent. Like at this point, this is over 30 minutes. I've let you vent. I've let you get it out. Do you want me to say anything? And she's like, no. She's like, I already know what you're gonna say. No, I don't want to hear that right now. Okay, that's fine. I've listened to this conversation. I've listened to you speak and run in circles. And not one time, because it seemed like every time you got quiet, you wanted me to interject. That's what it seemed like to me. But then when I did so, you started talking over me. So I told you know what? I'm going to let you figure that out. Whenever you're ready to have a conversation about this and actually work towards a solution, you can call me. But as of right now, I'm going to enjoy my food boundaries. Now, to get to the point, after a couple days passed by, once, you know, she's kind of like resolved in her mind, her temper was better, she was able to actually process things, she calls me. Unfortunately, the damage was already done in her marriage. But she calls me and she says, I need your help. Okay. All right. Now we're working with something. Now, let me make sure that I have the capacity to be able to help you. Luckily, that day I did. So she was like, in this situation, Kitty, what would you tell a couple? Okay. The main thing is that she kept on saying that she didn't need her husband. My first go-to is, did you tell him that? Did you tell this man that you didn't need him? She says yes. Oh, Lord Jesus. Okay. How did that go? What was his response? He blew up. Okay, well, if you don't need me, I don't need to be here. They ended up sleeping in separate beds that night, didn't talk to each other for a couple of days. So then I asked her, okay, do you feel like you don't need him? I don't need him. I don't need him. I can do this alone. I'm independent, blah, blah, blah. All right, cool. So leave him. That's not the answer I wanted, Kitty. Well, stop saying that you don't need him. You married this man. This is your partner in life. Stop telling your spouse that you don't need him. This is your husband. So if you don't know, I'm all about perspectives. So let's look at different perspectives. All right. You say you don't need your husband. All right. You got friends? Yeah. You need your friends? Absolutely. I need my friends. Okay. Why do you need your friends? We go down a list. They're my support. Whenever I'm going through things, I can talk to them. We share memories. We laugh together. We go through life together. All of that. You need your friends. Do you have those same moments with your husband? I hear her smack her lips. No, let's be for real. Let's be for real. Do you not share laughter with your husband? Do you not get through life with your husband? Do you not get different perspectives and advice and support and encouragement and things like that from your husband? Yeah. In that moment, you didn't. Or am I mistaken? She goes, in that moment, I didn't. I felt like I wasn't getting the right amount of support. So you just completely cut off your husband and say you done with him. You don't need him because in a moment he had something that pushed against, or maybe in a moment he had just human fault, because we're human. He had a moment where he couldn't be the support that you needed. But whenever your friends can't be supportive or they're going through their own things, you don't say that you're going to cut your friends off. I hear her choke up. All right. So I'm like, all right, let me lighten up, because I hear she's crying and stuff now. You know, she's trying to hide the fact she's crying, but you can hear about her nose sniffs and all that stuff. All right. And so I'm like, all right, let me slow down with you real quick. Exactly what do you need from me right now? And she was like, tell me exactly what you would tell your couples. So I tell her, baby, men need to be needed. That's where their sense of purpose comes from. That's where a lot of their fulfillment comes from. Be protectors, providers, problem solvers, and they want to feel valuable. And so they really need those meaningful connections. That's how they express their love and care. Now, even with these roles, it doesn't mean that they will not drop the ball. They're humans. When we speak of human element, people go through things. People have life experiences, situations that sometimes alter the way they see things. It alters their empathetic responses, but it doesn't mean that they don't care about you. It just means that in that moment, they probably can't give you the response that you actually need. So then she goes, well, why did he draw back? Why did he just walk out? Why did he just stop talking to me? Because you told him you don't need him. If he doesn't feel valued, you simply don't need him. You just hit his confidence, right? You just really took a jab at his esteem. Why is he going to be motivated to do more when you just specifically told this man, in other words, he's not valuable to you? I pull back then and I say, okay, let me not come from a psychological standpoint. Let me talk to you as your sister in Christ. You are a believer of God. When you married your husband, you came together under God, and God granted you that union. So now we need to make sure that we keep this union together, tight knit, even in these hard moments. We do so. That's your partner through life, through the good and the bad. Your husband is your sounding board during difficult times, but it doesn't mean that he doesn't have his own difficult times. And in their nature of being strong, because that's the expectation and that's the way they've been conditioned, men don't always show that. They don't always show those moments of weakness. So from a more biblical standpoint, I said, you need your husband. Let's get into the word. I said, the word says that your husband is supposed to support and guide you and your family to faith. That is in the book of Ephesians. God gave Eve to Adam. Adam needed a companion. But even when he gave Eve to Adam, they both became partners in life. They were one another's support. They loved one another. They processed and went through life with one another, regardless of what happened. You need your husband. That is your mental, emotional, physical spiritual safeguard. He is the provider and the protector of you, your marriage, your home, baby. Ephesians 5:25 talks about your husband loving you as Christ loved the church. That's sacrificial love. What better love than sacrificial love to understand selflessness and commitment? We need that as wives. We need to experience that. We need our children to see that. Not only is he your husband, he's your children's father. He plays a significant role in the household. A father's active role in the household is important. In our household, we need support, we need guidance, we need direction that sometimes we as wives and mothers simply cannot give. And the children's father, your husband, is there for moral development. He is absolutely necessary.
For real, for real.
The word speaks on the importance of a husband and a wife's union. We need that. So she listens and she actually takes it all in, and she's like, you know what, Kate, this is why I love you. I can't stand you because you get me together, but I love you. And I say all things with love. My circle, they already know what it is. But let me tell you something, as I would tell any of my clients, when your emotions are high, your judgment is clouded. And a lot of times when we're operating from such intense emotions, we say very hurtful things that are consequential that we cannot take back. We can't take those things back. Be mindful of what you say when you are angry. Be slow to saying angry things. Those brash, hurtful things, be slow to them. And I understand that in a moment you're so upset, but baby, you got to get that together, because it's so much power in telling a man you don't need him. There's so much power in you telling your husband you don't need him. Don't let the enemy come into your marriage. First of all, don't let the enemy attack your husband, because the enemy can use you to attack and break down your husband. Okay? We need our significant others. As wives, we need our husbands, and husbands need their wives. Remember that, okay?
So she let it get to a point where the man left, right? Instead of, she knows she has her good friend. Now, she should have taken her advice before, when she was thinking certain things in her head. She should have talked to her before. She knows this is another married woman, a woman in Christ at that. This is the problem. What you see here today, it seems like, wow, spectacular. She has such sound judgment. She does, because she's really in Christ. She really believes in the way God made it to be, in which everything she said was true. A man needs a woman, and a woman needs a man. And you see it in videos all the time. Do you need a man? No, I don't need a man for nothing. Do you need a woman? No, yeah, I love women. It's gotten that way, and who do you think created that? She stated it as she was making her statement. The enemy, yes, he's there to corrupt modern women's minds. That's him playing that part. It's true. Independent woman that don't need no man, him. Everything going against men, him. The separation of man and woman, him. Facts. And you can't see it. You blame everything on the guy and don't realize we're facing spiritual warfare. As she stated, we are. And they continuously let him use them and then blame it all on who? On you. And men are getting tired of it. Men are looking to other places because it's gotten out of hand.
Know that in the United States, 1 in 3 women feel really uncomfortable when you're in the apartment gym and a group of boys comes in, when they can just go to the actual gym and never feel uncomfortable?
I got to grow up in a little bit different time. A time when men could have safe spaces, places to hang out, and work on whatever it is they wanted to work on without having to worry about women being around and doing what women do, making it all about them. Which is why they went about making sure that any gym that catered primarily or only to men was targeted and harassed until they accepted women, while at the same time insisting that it's perfectly fine to have women-only gyms. The primary argument, of course, being that it's safer for women to have women-only gyms, while at the same time arguing that they want to be able to go to men's gyms because, well, they aren't dangerous? Female logic for you, right? And men were generally accepting of it, and we managed to peacefully coexist for a few years, but that had to come to an end also. Because not only did women want to have women-only gyms, they wanted to ensure that they had first right of refusal on the co-ed gyms, even going so far as to saying men shouldn't be allowed in them. And while they had some progress with that, it wasn't moving fast enough. They wanted to ensure that men weren't welcome in any gym. So they started using a new tactic: making shaming videos. They would set up cameras and start working out, taking hours and hours of video, waiting for that one guy that gave them a half-second glance. And then they would post that video online, claiming the guy was ogling them and harassing them, all in an attempt to shame him. But not just him, all men. All to make them afraid of going to the gym for fear of being doxxed online. They did and are doing everything to make the gyms as toxic for men as they possibly can, so they can feel safer. I guess men feeling safe isn't part of the equation. So men got smart. They realized what was going on and retreated from the gyms. Decided to start working out at home, which if you have a garage is very easy to do. But if you don't, it gets a little more complicated. Fortunately, many complexes, apartment buildings, neighborhoods have gyms of their own, places guys could go and work out without having to worry about dealing with women at the gym. Well, now they're looking to take that away.
You can't make this shit up. You know that in the United States, 1 in 3 women feel really uncomfortable when you're in the apartment gym and a group of boys comes in when they can just go to the actual gym and never feel uncomfortable?
Well, let's start by saying that 100 out of 100 women love to make statistics up and spout them as if they're the truth, when in reality, it's just a fantasy she created in her mind. But let's get to the heart of what she said, which is that women feel uncomfortable when boys come into the gym. Unless you think this is a one-off video, let me give you exhibit number 2.
The Pck Me Men have got to get out of the apartment gym.
The Pck Me Men? You mean the men that have happy, healthy relationships? Something which you'll never have because of your...
This is wild. Now, as you saw, 3 different videos of you stating how you feel bothered that men are working out in gyms you're going to. Now, I must say, the 3 ladies you've seen in all of those videos aren't the best lookers. You know what's wild? The women that are the lookers, they're usually not as bad, right? Not as, not trying to shame guys as much. Usually more cordial, will say hello in a gym. It's the ones who are washed up, older. It's wild. You have some, I'm not saying it's only, you have some of the good ones, some of the good looking ones that do this. But a lot of times when you see feminism talking, it's always a woman that's spewing her hate, her misandrous views on men, and she's not the best looker. It's wild. I find that troubling.
50-50 divorces aren't fair. Stay-at-home moms should be given 100% of everything in divorce and should be awarded alimony for life.
You are all selfish mother...
First, a little bit of data for background. Stay-at-home moms have 0 retirement, which is why elderly females are the most vulnerable.
This kind of mindset is just a me mentality, and she's not in it for the we in the family dynamic. Because why the hell are you in a marriage if you're already thinking about your exit plan? Because thinking about your retirement or any money that you would have in case this man is not around or in case you get divorced means that you're already thinking about it. And you think about if eventually you're going to follow through with it. And why the hell would you be entitled to 100% when he's busting it every single day to give you everything that you want? And it's not his fault that you resent having children because you feel like you missed out on life. It's not his fault that you feel like you need to get paid for having his children. Do you see how selfish and delusional and entitled that is?
He's cooking our garbage.
He doesn't get paid for providing for you. He goes to a job. He misses milestones. He misses family events. He misses time with his family in order to give you what you need, and you're just from him. Like, make it make sense. And imagine committing to somebody and telling them that you want to spend the rest of your life committing to them in a marriage, but then simultaneously, when you feel resentment and you're upset at your lifestyle, you want to destabilize him to take 100% of everything that you guys have built together. That's selfish as hell. And what kind of person are you to say to yourself, oh, I want this man to suffer because I'm suffering, because I'm just a miserable human being? That's not love. That's not compassion. That's not empathy. And are you really looking at the best interest of your family and your kids if you're trying to destabilize the other side of the fence? Like, be for real. And in terms of alimony, if men are expected to pay their way after a divorce, then you should only get alimony for 1 freaking year. Get your together, grow up, get a job, make your own money, and stop depending on a man that you hated so much that you decided to break your family up and leave it behind, all for what, a freaking paycheck? Well, congratulations. Now you actually have to go work and stop being a mooch and a lazy wife and a human being to someone that tried to take care of you and have a family with you.
I'm going to love when it's in play, when it's in action, when they do away with no fault divorce. Why? Because you're going to see so many not even get married. So many of these ladies, these women, are not even going to get married because they're saying it already. I reacted to a video about 2 weeks ago. They were saying, oh, man, yeah, I'm not going to get married. And she thought that the lady thought it was a good idea to get married just in case something happened, which I thought was great. Hey, you've been with him for 10 years. In case something goes wrong, you want to have say-so if he dies, or say, for instance, he needs to get his leg replaced. You can speak up for him as his wife. I thought it was a great reason to get married. Of course, they're in love too. So I'm like, yeah, great thing. Because she saw that no fault divorce was coming into play, she decided not to get married. There's going to be so many more doing it. And what guys are going to say is, wait a minute, why are you really here? You want to out? Same thing this lady said. You want to look for a way out? And you're supposed to love me? Get lost.
Men need to toughen up. And I think if men were forced to be homeless, they would learn how to be better men.
Say what?
Because that's what made men manly in the past, was having to build houses and stuff.
Mm-hmm. And stuff. Yeah. That's not what made men manly.
If we just made men be homeless for like a year, I think it would fix a lot of problems.
That would be
society.
so stupid. I am stupid. Good. Especially because we don't force men to do military anymore like they used to. They make them homeless for a year. Let's see how they.
Yeah, make them just figure it out.
I am a proud single woman.
What? No. They can't be serious.
And make them homeless in a country where they don't know the language. And that way they really have to go through something, and then maybe they can like be appreciative.
Wait, so what if we apply that same logic to women to toughen them up a little bit and give them a good dose of the reality that they actually live in? You know, take their rights away for a year so they can actually understand how not oppressed they really are in this country. Oh, wait, that probably wouldn't go over very well, would it? No. But then again, hearing stuff like this come out of some women's mouths does make me really appreciate how some can actually perceive women as illogical and irrational.
You know what? This is okay in their eyes because they continuously do this over and over and over. And you don't see big lines of men gathering for a march to march against a bunch of podcasts, misandrous podcasts that bash men all day long. You may see a guy make a podcast himself talking about some of the issues that are going on in society, where different ladies are speaking up against men like how you are right here. But you gotta understand something. When you talk the way you're talking, make it make sense. Like everything you said, like that's why I love how the lady broke it down. Everything you said, it didn't really make sense. Because imagine if a man said we need to do that to y'all. It'll be a big problem. It'll be marches all over the place. It's a march all the time when something happens like that. Let a man do that. The patriarchy do that. It's a big problem. But no, you can do it, but we can't. And you know as well, people are canceled. Different men are canceled all the time for speaking this way. We need to see more. They should be canceled for this. It's never going to happen, though.
Here are 3 reasons why I quit my PhD and became an adult content creator. Believe it or not, but I actually have a science background and I was doing cancer research. The first reason why I quit is because I want to be my own boss. I want to have the full freedom and control over where, when, and how much I work. The second reason is also pretty obvious. I was overworked and underpaid. And the third reason was just the overall working environment. I don't agree with how academia worked, and the working environment in my lab was super toxic. I really didn't like my boss. Of course, there were so many more factors that contributed to my decision, but it would take a really long time to explain it all.
Now, I understand when people say, hey, I quit this, I'm going to do content creation or anything else. But to do this, adult content, and put your face on TikTok to gather an audience, to delude, to poison the minds of young women coming up in the future. Like, this is bad. And she's a young woman herself. She's not thinking about that. She's not thinking of how she'll never be able to show her face again. Say everything crumbles. She has to get a job now. You probably can't get the job. This is going to live with you forever. Never realize, never can see the backlash that happens behind it. Everywhere you go, someone knows your face. Look at what Mia Khalifa is going through right now. She hates that she did what she did, but she still tries to make it seem like, oh no, woman empowerment, but she's miserable. But you're gonna go what she goes through. Getting a job somewhere and a person hires you because you feel it. She's gonna feel the same thing. By then it'll be too late.
Why I quit my PhD to make adult content part 2.
Oh, here we go again.
This will get a little personal. I grew up in a really high performance environment. My father was a successful diplomat and his parents also both had high performance careers. And naturally, I have always been very ambitious and kind of an overachiever as well. But I was also a people pleaser and very close to my dad. So looking back, I realized that I started a PhD to impress my dad. And also the professors at university kind of made you feel like you had no chance for a good career with only a master's in biotechnology if you didn't do a PhD. So long story short, I started a PhD to please other people instead of doing it for myself. But things changed when my father got cancer 4 years ago. His terminal disease really changed my view on life, happiness, and success. I know this is so cliche, but losing my dad just taught me so many things and I finally took full control of my life. I realized that all that matters to me in life is that I'm happy, that I spend time with the people that I love, and that I have the freedom to do the things that I love. So I asked myself this: what would I do if money was no issue? So I became an online personal trainer to pursue my passion for fitness and to help people with their health in a way that fulfilled me, which was obviously not in the lab. So for this, I had to do a lot of content creation, and along the way, I just fell in love with it. First with social media content creation, and later also adult content creation. So actually what started out as a hobby and a way to express myself grew into a passion and now my main source of income. Now I'm so grateful that I'm able to do this. So to wrap it up, deciding to live for my own happiness has been one of the best decisions in my life.
Oh man, that's messed up. Your dad died. It's like she hit the pole. Daddy dies. Oh, I don't have to please daddy no more. I don't have to see him smile. Her mom's probably going too. Your dad dies, and that's how you repay him in his death? Like, he would turn in his grave. No morals. This is bad, man. This is sad, actually. You waited for your dad to pass to be a degenerate? Because that's what happened. He passed. Oh, let me show my body. And she has no body, too. Go around living life how they want to live. You know, show this, give me some cash. But OnlyFans is going to die. And you're going to get older. Then what? You could have been a biochemist or got something else with your master's. And now that's going to be hard for you to obtain. And you don't see it. You don't realize it because you're young. And you don't understand that you're going to get old and this lasts forever. But yeah, y'all, no sense. But thank y'all for watching. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe. See y'all next video.